Bring in Moira Rylander, and she's with the Women in Defense Group, and they're having some scholarships that are available. And I looked at the criteria briefly, but let's start off. I always assume that folks on the show are watching the show either live or on demand. Don't know what the group is about or the company's about or the person. So we start off with tell us about Women in Defense and what's going on there.
Sure. Thank you, Mike, for having me on. My name is Maura Rylander, and I am the Scholarship Director for Women in Defense here in Michigan. And we're one of the largest chapters in the country. It's a nonprofit organization for both men and women to help promote and network women in the defense industry. We have the scholarship for women in college since about 2009, and it's fantastic. We've just rewarded some tremendous women from Vicki Rowinski, who is the Michigan Macomb County Planning Director, is one of our more recent recipients. Well, she was a recipient in college, and it's been a great way to connect with young women, to mentor them, to introduce them to positions in the defense industry, and just to help them, support them in the early stages of their career.
And I assume you personally are involved in the defense industry in some capacity. Who do you work for?
I'm an Army civilian, and I work at the Detroit Arsenal in Warren, Michigan.
Okay. Makes sense. I'm very familiar with it. Been covering it for about 20 years now. I know every 2 years there's a new general, so I have to get to know that person. So, but anyway, interesting. So let's talk a little bit about that. I'm real familiar with the fact that, for instance, in cybersecurity, there's hundreds of thousands of jobs available. I'm less familiar with the defense industry. Are there lots of job openings available right now in defense industry?
Absolutely, and I think one of the misnomers is that people think that they have to be an engineer, and there's job openings for supply chain management, for other business degrees, analytical, statistical, obviously engineering. But yes, it's not just in the STEM related fields that we have open positions. And this, like I said, the scholarship is a good way to get them to think about positions.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the requirements. I did look over the requirements briefly when you sent me that PDF, but let's go through those requirements. They're pretty specific, actually.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot. It's a very robust scholarship, to be quite honest. We do some excellent fundraising for it. So we do ask for some hoops for them to go through. Obviously, you have to be a woman, be a United States citizen, and that does have to be documented proof. They have to be a resident of Michigan because we are the Michigan chapter. And if someone is not a resident of Michigan and watching this, there are other women in defense chapters throughout the country, and they can reach out to them to see if they offer a scholarship. They do have to be at an accredited Michigan university or college, like Michigan Tech, and they have to have at least 60 credits and a minimum grade point of 3.0. And they have to have they have to tell us about some educational expenses that they have. One fun fact, I guess, in this is that this year we did award a scholarship to a Michigan Tech student, so that was pretty exciting.
All right. So these scholarships, what sort of range are they? Are they a minimum, maximum? How do they work?
Well, it depends on what we're able to fundraise. And I'm quite proud of the fact that in 2020, in the height of the COVID, all the stay at home, we did raise enough where we awarded 4 scholarships for each woman to receive $1,250. Last year, everyone was extremely excited to be back in person, and we had a golf outing, and we just broke records on how much we raised. And we gave scholarships for as high as $2,000 to as low as $1,000. I'm looking at my notes here. So I mean, again, they're great scholarships, and it's worth it for women to look into it. One thing I would like to note is that they do have to write an essay about how their degree would benefit in some aspect of the defense industry. We don't hold them to that, but it's just a way to get them to think of how they could work in defense, and that's what they have to write an essay on. And some women are kind of turned off by that. They don't have to join the military. They don't have to. We're not going to take the money back, but we just think about it. And in non-COVID times, we actually have a huge black tie event that scholarship recipients are invited to for free, and they get to meet all of the people in the defense industry. The event has like 500 people, and they get to meet them. And they are celebrated. So you can't ask for a better networking opportunity than that. You get a scholarship and a chance to meet with lots of people.
Yeah, I've discovered over the years, since I've been doing this for a long time, that nothing beats face-to-face networking.
Hmm.
The challenge, of course, has been since March of 2020 that we haven't really been able to do that as much as we want. And we don't know what the winter has in store for us with the new Omicron virus going crazy right now. So, yeah, everybody keeps saying, when will this end? But who knows? And we do the
Right,
best we
right.
can, right? So, in the meantime, uh, are you looking for more volunteers, more people to work with, more job openings? What are you looking for right now in the Michigan chapter?
For right now, I want to use this to get the word out to the women. I think it's important that, they know that there are companies and organizations and nonprofits that are there to support them. And it's not always easy to be a woman in the defense industry, and we want to provide that initial support structure to them. So I'd love to help, get the word out about this scholarship. And if they have any questions, if people are in the defense industry already and would like to get involved in WID, which is the short way of Women in Defense, then we'd love to have them get involved, either supporting the golf outing, or making any contributions or sponsorships, or just participating and getting involved in networking.
Certainly, I know the Detroit Arsenal is a pretty big player in the defense industry. I'm less familiar with what's going on in Michigan in general. Do we have a lot of defense industries in Michigan?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, aerospace is one of the growing ones that's becoming more on the west side of the state. Yeah, defense industry is huge here, both on the southeastern side, northern Michigan, as well as western part of Michigan. You've got General Dynamics, the BAE, tier 1, 2, and 3 contractors. It's impressive. People don't realize. I don't think people realize, including GM Defense is one, the big defense player now.
Yeah. And I know that Detroit Arsenal used to work really closely with the auto industry for dual use sort of technologies, but I think the National Automotive Center was phased out a few years ago. So are you still working with the auto industry?
I guess I couldn't say for sure with all the organizations, but I know there are many organizations that do work with GM as a good example, but I really couldn't say for sure on all of that.
Okay. So what else can we talk about in terms of defense? I mean, what are the top really for women in particular? What are some of the top job availabilities right now, whether you have an engineering degree or not? I mean, what do you need the most of?
I guess what I would encourage young women in college to look at is to go to usajobs.gov and just to see what else is there. There are many hiring programs for recent college graduates. And like I said, it is more than STEM. We are looking for, again, I'm speaking representing for women in defense. So I want to encourage them to look everywhere. I'm not talking just for the Army on this, but, for women in defense, we would encourage them to, reach out to the people go on our webpage and reach out to any contacts that they have there. We have a great mentoring program, lots of different activities that they can go to, even in college, or, other people as well, if they're, listening in on this.
Yeah, let's talk about your mentoring program. Tell me about that.
Sure. It's a 1-year program where we pair up someone new in the defense field with someone more seasoned, I guess call it that. And not necessarily, people, it's not necessarily to aspire for senior leadership positions, but it's just to help understand the flows of the defense industry, whether you're on the contracting side, supplier side, or on the government side. And it's just a great way to have someone else to talk to. And it's a year-long program. You're paired up with them. There's some events. They're all virtual for the most part now, but also some training sessions that we encourage them all to go to. It's fantastic. We have a lot of good support from it, and a lot of the people who are mentees then eventually want to become mentors as well, just to give back like that, because it's very positive.
So when young women get involved with a mentor, does that tend to persuade them that that's the direction they want to go in? Do you have a big dropout rate, or how does that play out?
These are women who are already in the defense industry.
Oh, okay.
So it helps just to learn more about what's available, learn other different people, just to have someone there just to talk to. And it's a really, really good program. And lots of different series of lectures that we have that the people will go to. And so we're really working through the challenges of being virtual, lunch and learns on Zoom and things like that, but trying to get people to talk to each other as well.
Okay. Any other points or things you want to point out before I let you go?
No, just thank you for the time. The webpage is wid-mi.org. And one of the programs is listed as a Horizons College Scholarship, and my email is there. If anyone has any questions about it, I'm happy to help out. Thank you so much.
All right. Maura Rylander, thanks for being with us from the Women in Defense Michigan chapter.